Hey, I'm Dave and you're watching Yellowhammer Woodcrafts. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how I built this magazine photo booth. If you don't know what these are, stay tuned and I'll show you exactly what it's used for and how to build it and how you can make money with it. So we're going to start out cutting the panels. You're definitely going to need either a track saw or a table saw to do this. You want to cut your plexiglass panels down to 3 foot by 7 foot. And then you'll have 1/4 inch plywood for the back. This is 2 sheets of 1/4 inch plywood cut the same way as the plexiglass. 2 3 by 7 sheets put together. There's a line here, so I put a board over it. You can see it in the back. Can't really see that on camera, but it's there. And then these are just primed 1x4s. These are 1x5s on the front. The side is going to be a 1/4 inch plywood 4x7 sandwiched between 1x4s. So every panel you make is sandwiched together like that. And then this board is just a 4 by 8, 4 foot and 8 inches wide. And it's 2 of them sandwiched between a 1/4 inch plywood for the header. This is just your doorway to get in. Some people build an actual doorway here. I didn't see the need for that because they're probably just going to hang a curtain here to help with the pictures anyway. The top is just 1/4 inch ply with 2x4 frames and then lights put in it. Not much to it. You could cover this with another sheet of plywood if you wanted to protect the wiring. I do think I'm going to end up doing that. If you're interested in plans to build this, I will have plans available soon. I'm having someone make them now, so come back to the video later on, probably about 2 months, and I should have a link for the plans for you. I didn't feel the need to film much of the panels going together because all it is just 1/4 inch plywood sandwiched together between 1x4s. Move on to building the top part. The top part is made out of 2x4s laid on their side, and I just use pocket holes to screw them together. And then you'll see me putting some glue on it and laying a sheet of 1/4 inch plywood on top of it. And when you lay this sheet down, if you built it to the same dimensions as mine, it's not going to cover the entire build for the 2x4s, so I just cut some small strips to cover up the part that was left over. You'll see when I lay the sheet down that it's going to leave just a little bit on the edge right there. So I just put some sheets of 1/4 inch to cover that up. And now I'm drawing the holes for the lights to go into. And if you have the plans, it'll show you where to put these light holes. If not, I just used the best aesthetics for it and measured them out to be in the locations that would look the best, basically. If I remember correctly, it was 18 inches off the left and right side and 13 inches from the top and bottom is to the center of the hole. And then I just screwed a hole in it so I can get my jigsaw blade in there and cut the circles out. And now you have 4 holes for your 4 lights. These are the lights I use. These come from Home Depot. They go up to 5,000 lumens. I think they ran about $80 for all 4 of them. Somewhere around in there. All right, let's flip it over and try not to break our backs or drop this thing. And I'm going to show you how I wired these. The wiring on these lights is very simple. It has a switch here you can change the lumens to. I have it set on 5,000. It just plugs in right there, and then it goes to this box, and you have your green, white, and black wires coming in. And all you do is wire all these together. They just push in this little clip. So you push all your grounds into one, push all your blacks into one, and all your whites into the other one. And this is the one where the extension cord is wired in. And then the rest of them are all wired together. So this is a close-up of the whites together, the blacks, and the grounds. These push pins are pretty easy. All you do is just strip the wire back, push it in there, and it locks in place. And that's it. Now I'm going to show you how I used bed rail fasteners to hold all these walls together. This is a jig I made to put these bed rail fasteners on. All it is 1/2-inch plywood just glued together, and then you put it on where you want your bed rail fastener to go. And I use some double-sided tape, and then I'm just using this block to help support the router to make sure that the jig does not fall over. So once you put that on, you can take your router and put it down in the groove that was made from the bed rail fastener, and you just run your router in there and it cuts as deep as you need it to cut for that fastener to fit in the hole. You will need a router bit with a bearing on it, as I'm showing here. This is to ride along the edge of the jig that I made. Then I'm just using a chisel to square off the corners. And now you see the two little nubs that is on the bottom of this. You have to chisel out for those or it won't go down into the pocket that you made with the router. So I'm just using my chisel. It doesn't have to be pretty because you're not going to see it anyway. So I just chisel these out just enough to get those little nubs to stick down in the holes. And now that I'm thinking about it, it would have actually been a lot easier just to use a little Forstner bit to drill a hole. You do want to pre-drill for your screws because you're going into this edge of this 1x4, so you want to make sure it doesn't split the wood. And I'm just using, I think they're 1.25 or 1.5 screws. One thing I learned about these bed rail fasteners is when you are lining up the part that they lock into, you want to measure them exactly how you did the one that has the locking part on it. And they should come out perfect because when they're locked together, they are even. So if you measure the same for both of them, you should line up perfectly. And the same way with this one, you have to drill out for the grooves for the little locks to go down into. And I'm just using a small Forstner bit to do that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be pretty. You're not going to see it anyway. Here's a tip for these bed rail fasteners. There is actually an up and a down for these, and I learned that the hard way. If you lock them together like that, then you see how the top or the one with the locks in it and the one with the grooves is not even after they're locked together. So if you turn this one up like that, when you put them together, now they're even. So if you put this one upside down on one of the walls, it's not going to line up right. So you want to make sure that if you're using them like this hole that's closest to the groove goes to the top of the wall. And this one, the hole closest to the lock, goes towards the bottom of the wall. That way, when you put them in there and you lock it down, they're even. So this is how I oriented my bed rail fasteners. 2 slot holders for the left side wall, 15 inches from the top and the bottom. And then over here is the one for the header board. This is the back wall. And your left wall is the one that has the locks on it, 15 inches from the top and the bottom. And you want to put them close to the edge. That way when you put the walls together, they line up on the corners evenly. And on this side, same way. If you like this build video, consider subscribing to the channel and check out this playlist over here of all my full builds. We'll see you next time on Yellowhammer Woodcrafts.